What's going on, guys? This is Joey Young coming at you with another how-to video today. Today is part 2 of how to keep a Planet Reef tank 101. Today on part 2 we are going to be talking about what kind of livestock you can keep with a Planet tank and lighting. Alright, so we'll start with lighting. So in general, a lot of reef tanks or even saltwater tanks, you'll see the lighting for the tank is generally more blue. And there's nothing wrong with using blue LEDs or blue lighting for your tank. Now, you have to pair it with a LED or a light that's suitable for plants. For Planet tanks, you want to generally pick lighting that's around 6,800 to about 10K. So 10K is a little bit more on the blue side, but I've seen a bunch of 10K lights that do work for Planet tanks. So in this tank, the light is more white and it's more on the 8,000 Kelvin side. Why does light matter in a Planet Reef tank? So with any plants, they need a specific spectrum of light so that they can photosynthesize and create energy for them to grow. So with plants, generally on the blue spectrum, they don't really use that as much. They do use a little bit of it, and definitely you can grow plants in blue or light, but they won't optimally grow really well in it. So if you like the blueness of the light, I always suggest getting a Planet light, pair it with a actinic lightings to make that little blue. So as a beginner for a Planet Reef tank, I suggest you guys grab any LED or light that is suitable for a freshwater Planet tank. This will get you great results and it'll be a great platform to start off on. So with lighting, it plays a role into your livestock. So this is why I'm doing livestock and lighting in one video. So with livestock, so let's start with corals. So depending on your light, depending on what you go with in your lighting will limit you in what kind of corals you can get. So obviously a lot of the corals that are really easy, hardy corals like green star polyps, you got zinnias, you got some mushrooms. Those are pretty hardy corals and really easy to grow, and they can really grow in any light condition. So if you're going with a Planet tank and you need to go more on the lower end side of the light spectrum, these corals will do just fine. As you plan your Planet Reef tank out, you have to figure out what kind of species will go well with Planet tanks. Obviously, there's a lot of fish that eats plants and you kind of want to avoid those. So things like tangs and any fish that has a high diet in algae or anything with plants, you kind of may want to avoid those fish. So best suggestion would be obviously clownfish really well. You'll see blennies in here, you'll see wrasse in here, and you'll see a lot of shrimps, because shrimps in saltwater, they tend to eat more meat versus plants. There are some shrimps that do eat algae here and there, and they're perfect, but most of the shrimps that you'll see, like cleaner shrimps, fire shrimps, they are meat eaters. So another good livestock would be seahorses. Obviously seahorses need plants, they grab onto it and they kind of just float with the plant. That's a really good livestock to pick along with your Planet Reef tank. But the thing with seahorses is they're really difficult, and they're not difficult because they're hard to keep. They're difficult because they're really picky eaters. And with any fish, if they don't eat, generally they won't make it. So if you can get a nice pair of seahorses to eat for you, I think that would be a great addition to your Planet Reef tank. And finally, the last thing I want to mention is your A-team. So your A-team is your algae eating team. There are certain snails that will eat plants, so you got to be careful with that. And they only eat decaying dead plants. So keep that in mind. If you see a snail hover over a plant and it's just eating it, that means that plant is dying or is melting back, and that's why they're eating it. If the plant is healthy, they'll generally avoid the plant, but you have to be careful with snails because certain snails will eat the plants if there's not enough food or algae on the tank to munch on. The last tip I want to give you guys is avoid emerald crabs. Now there's some emerald crabs that will not touch plants, but the emerald crabs that I've had and owned, they've eaten every single plant that I've had in my tank, and they will go ham on all your zoas and a lot of your corals. So even though that they're a really great algae control crab, and they definitely will take care of bubble algae, any hair algae that's grown in the tank, but the sacrifice of that will be your plants, your corals, and pretty much anything that they can eat. Alright guys, and that's it for part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the mini series so far. Make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for part 3. Peace guys. Are you looking to take on the next challenge in the Planet Tank hobby? Then make sure to check out the Wabikusa Eco Ball. It's simple, unique, and easy to care for. This is the next level in the Planet Tank hobby, blending immersed and submerged plants together. Stop by the store at purelyaquatic.com to buy your own Eco Ball and rare plants.